Welcome to Treasure Valley Podcast. Today's episode, as always, is brought to you by LowerGentry Studios. LowerGentry Studios is a Treasure Valley film company that specializes in high-value productions at a low cost. You can check out their material at www.lowergentrystudios.com. There is a web series there called Canyon County that I suggest that you watch and view and enjoy. Today, we have Zoe Kelly joining us.
Hello, everyone.
And as always, I'm Chuck, and we also have...
Oh, you're not going to say my name? I have to say my own name?
Usually that's how it works. Plus, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, my name's Elliot Norton.
Excellent.
Elliot, only one T. And then Norton.
For those of you that were curious as to how to spell his name, are you making a deposition?
Mm-hmm.
I had jury duty today, but I can't go into it.
Oh, yeah, it's against the law.
I know, I can't.
If they caught you, if those Canyon County prosecutors and defense people and judges caught you talking about the things that you know.
Yeah, and plus
jury duty.
We get a lot of those viewers on our podcast as well. So
yes, for sure.
I'm not going to say anything. I think you're supposed to rub your nose. I just rubbed my nose.
Perfect. For those of you listening,
yeah,
not watching.
A majority of people actually download the podcast on MP3.
Yes.
A vast majority view it, listen to it on MP3 rather than view it on YouTube. So we have to make sure that we're explaining what's going on, these visual cues that we're throwing out.
But we have, it's Treasure Valley Podcast. Why is today special?
Today, you know what? Thank you for asking me that because I have the answer to that written on my card. Today is June 4th, and 302 years ago, on June 4th, 1717, the Freemasons were formed. I combined Masons and formed to make the Free Mormons.
Yep. And said that they're Freemasons. And then I know absolutely nothing about the Freemasons. But
they're older than the Free Mormons, actually. If
yes,
it's 1717.
For sure. They beat them out by 150 years about, I would think, or maybe a little bit less. Anyway, but I know nothing about the Freemasons other than the most important contribution that they made was they were the inspiration for the Stonecutters episode of The Simpsons. So
that was a really good episode.
That was a good episode. So anybody else that knows anything about Freemasons, just put them in the comments because I know nothing about them, literally.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions about the Freemasons, I like to do research in my free time as a freelance researcher, so feel free to shoot me a message at the bottom of this podcast in our blog, and I will look into any questions that you might have. But I suggest maybe if you have the time to log in and write out a comment, you should just open up another browser
and then
look
just
into
Google
it yourself.
Search your question, you lazy ass.
Yeah, but, hey. All right, so should we talk about events that are happening?
Let's talk about events. Let's go.
Cool. Did you guys do anything fun over the weekend? Should we reminisce about events at all?
No, I didn't do anything fun at all.
No, I thought you guys went to the recording studio that opened, or the record store that opened.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah, wait, this is why you're here.
I thought I was just here for my looks.
Well, like we said earlier, most people listen to it.
So yes, you are here for your looks. You have a face for radio, baby. I'm just kidding. We went to State Street Music. I was waiting for you to play the jingle. That's why I was pausing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have the jingle. We have the events jingle. Can we listen to the jingle first? Because that's what primes me to start talking about a different... That's how we segregate our segments.
Oh, that's true.
All right.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on in the Treasure Valley?
All right, that's better. Thank you.
Hey, guess what? Are you ready to talk about events that are going on in the Treasure Valley?
Yes, now that I've been properly primed to, yes.
Okay, good.
All right, so last weekend we did go to the State Street Music Room, which is inside of that one place.
There's a lot of construction. It's on State Street.
It's on State Street. State Street Music Room is on State Street. There's a lot of construction. That part sucks, but inside of the room was really gorgeous. Yeah. We bought, which album did you buy?
It was Brothers and Sisters by the Allman Brothers. It was one of those albums that was not in my Allman Brothers vinyl collection.
Yeah,
so
and then that's the one with Ramblin' Man on it.
Yep, it was their
and Jessica.
Dude, you don't get a shot off of YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, YouTube.
They might flag it.
We do not have the rights to that song. I was a little bit too in key, I think.
No, actually not.
I think
we're
you're
good.
all right.
I think we won't get flagged.
You don't think so?
Zoe, please don't sing it.
I shall not.
All right.
But I was born a man. trying to make a living and doing the best I can. Do you think that'll get flagged?
We'll find out.
Okay.
And if it does, who cares? A majority of our listeners go to lowergentrystudios.com and download the MP3. So, should we talk about what's going on this weekend?
Yes, I'm very excited to talk about this because this weekend is both showings are going to be going on with the I-48. So
Yes.
just the random open showings, which will be going on the Flicks starting at 12:30, and then also the Best of Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And so those of you that are unaware what the I-48 is, it stands for I stands for Idaho, and 48 is the number of hours that you have to produce an original short film. I think 3 to 6 minute long is the limit.
So the minimum the minimum length of the movie needs to be 3 minutes, and then the outside length needs to be 6 minutes. And then when they say like right produced, they mean like the entire thing needs to be.
So the
made.
teams, we've done this a handful of times. We didn't participate this year, but we like to go watch the films that get produced every year anyway at the Best of competition, or excuse me, the Best of screening. That's going to be Sunday at the Egyptian at 5 p.m. Prior to that, if you go to the Flicks at 12:30 on Saturday, they start the screenings in the different blocks. There's 3 2-hour blocks.
And then that's all the movies, and then they select the award winners for Sunday, and then they screen them again, and then they give out awards and stuff. And
I like how we explain this process in a very web-like, nebulous manner.
Yeah, exactly.
To where we're going starting at the end, then at the beginning. So,
and then we're kind of circling around because I wanted to talk about next how the movies are made, which usually you get like a packet.
Yeah, you do get a packet and a prop and a line of dialogue
just to make
and
sure.
a character.
And a character, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a genre.
Oh, and a genre, yeah.
And
so they make sure, and then so that's the way that they ensure that you made it in 48 hours.
And you get to see a lot of very clever executions, and being a part of it's fun too because you get to see the different filmmakers' takes on how to use the character and the prop and the line of dialogue.
Yeah, and it's fucking cheap to go watch, so don't be a cheapskate.
Yes.
$7 to go to the Best of. It's
$7
$5 to go to the each Flicks block. So.
And on Sunday, there's an after party at the Egyptian, which is always the best part.
Yeah,
After
if anything,
party.
just show up to the after party.
Especially if you're a lush. Just want to. I don't know if there's going to be alcohol there. Is there going to be alcohol there?
There usually is.
Yeah, there usually. I don't know. That's why you were
Actually,
excited
it's
to plug it.
$7 for a. No, I'm kidding.
So yes,
It'll probably be beer and wine only because it's going to be at the Egyptian if there is
Usually,
alcohol.
yeah.
if you want to see a plethora of local filmmakers, then this weekend you need to be at the Flicks in the Egyptian. We recommend it. So
For sure.
Should we talk about some problems and some possible solutions?
Only if you start playing the jingle.
You've got problems. I've got problems. We've got problems. Here's the answer.
Your voice is so angelic, Charles.
I don't know whose voice that was.
Oh,
No, we hired
Great.
him out of Yugoslavia.
his voice is so angelic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the angelic Yugoslavian singer that we hire for next to nothing to do jingles for us.
Yeah. Well, because of the economy over there, you can get singers for a lot cheaper than usual.
Yeah, their internet.
Especially if you're doing it over the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, their internet's
Remotely.
decent there.
There you go.
Yeah.
They have a lot of quiet areas to film or record as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Their voices, their angelic voices. So, problem, solution. We were driving around this week throughout the state, last week, I guess, and Elliot and I got into a discussion about the local and national political situation. And right now,
man, I can just hear the people turning this off just with that.
here we go.
Here we go. They're
We're
like,
gonna-
no, what crazy things are they going to say?
Well, I might say some crazy things.
Oh,
It might get a little weird, but we were talking about the approval rating of Congress being at 20% right now, which actually has gone up from 17.
so literally 1 out of 5 people like it.
Approve of our national
but 4
Congress.
out of 5 people do not like our U.S. Congress.
Yeah, and what we were talking about was the issue with just unchecked governmental growth. Well, that was my issue. I'm not quite sure what your issue was.
Well,
Elliot.
I think the thing is, I think we need to specify this for people a little bit. Is that you are kind of a crazy libertarian person. You really like bought into libertarian philosophy, and then for me, I don't know where I stand on a lot of things because I'm generally more of a narcissist, and I don't really care about myself.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
I could
and
definitely.
Then, Zoe, I don't know where you are on this.
I would say I lean more progressive, but I'm also a little bit nihilistic, so I don't really care a lot of the time.
Yeah, see, I
because
feel
it
like I'm
doesn't
a
really matter.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a misanthrope.
Ah,
It's like anytime lots of people get together, it's not going to work anyway because, people are all inherently awful because we're all animals.
That,
and then
I agree with that as well.
We just want to just poop and eat and then have sex and then like kill each other to assert our dominance, like deep down.
The dominance thing I agree with.
The mammalian brain, and then because humans became slightly more evolved, we can now dominate people in different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
So instead of like chimpanzees, they like murder the opposite tribe and then eat them. We set really high loan rates.
Mm-hmm.
and then put people into poverty.
Consume the fruits of their labor.
Exactly.
And their souls.
Can I say one quick thing before we get going into this, though?
I thought we were already going. I thought this was already a
Do
pretty
we need
good
another
solution.
jingle, or are we okay?
Yeah, we could just keep listing problems.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think that because a lot of our discussions that we have around the lower gentry table are typically
which isn't
broader.
Actually this table, literally.
Yeah, no, it's
a
not.
figurative table.
There's another table that's not as well lit.
It's true.
We're talking about broader structural problems to the government. So we're not talking about like Republicans or Democrats, right?
Yeah.
And we're not talking about even like liberals and progressives or versus conservatives or whatever. We're talking about like broad problems, right?
Yes.
Not gun rights, not abortion, not immigration. We're talking about broader, like deeper systematic problems. So if you hear anything in the next few minutes that you're offended by, then just know that you get
Thank you for
offended.
listening.
First off, thanks for listening.
And then second off,
get over yourself. This
continue listening because we're going to explain it and we're going to solve your problem. So sit tight. Here it comes. All right. So here's the issue and this is what we were talking about. Let me take control of this because there's a lot of rambling happening here.
What are you talking about? I'm not rambling.
We need to have
Rambling man.
So we were talking about a systemic solution to the issue of basically too much power, centralized power.
Yeah.
I think Democrats and Republicans would agree that there's too much centralized power.
Yeah, or liberals, or I guess a lot of the people just believe in third parties, they're independent voters, so they switch back and forth between Democrats and Republicans all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that are probably the most upset, and they're constantly looking for a solution. Like, this time I'm going to vote for Obama. Oh, that didn't work. Now I'm going to vote for Trump.
Whereas the difference between those two different parties isn't necessarily distinct enough to cause a systemic change that we actually need.
Except for in specific issues.
Correct.
That people latch onto.
But nothing has really changed. Well, no, I take that back. The marijuana thing is is progressing along quite nicely.
That was based off of plebiscites and voter referendums.
True.
Not through the parties and the politicians.
Correct. And so power in the hands of the people is, I believe, what works best. First of all, I think that we should have online voting.
Ooh.
I think that needs to be a first step because we need to get rid of barriers to voting. And I believe that the internet is just as secure. My online banking is as secure as the voting system going in and making a deposit or withdrawal versus going in and voting. Nobody goes to the bank anymore, and nobody's concerned about their money being robbed at the bank. I mean, unless you're concerned about the bank taking it in the form of excessive interest. So online voting. And then also, I think we need to write into our Constitution at some juncture in population increase, there needs to be an autonomous government created.
Yeah, I definitely agree with
geographically and either geographically or actually population-wise would be the smartest way to do it. And at any juncture, any group of people could get together, vote, and then create their own state, possibly, or autonomous.
But it would be an autonomous government, though.
But it would still be subject to the court system that enforces the Constitution of the United States. But so you couldn't create a constitution that directly opposes the U.S. Constitution. Obviously federal taxes would still need to be forwarded on, and I think that's an obvious mess. But it would be created based on the ideals of freedom that were founded in the Constitution, and then you could then vote, and it would function almost as if it's its own state, where you could then create your own autonomous constitution as long as it doesn't conflict with the federal constitution and at whatever population rate we feel is feasible.
Well,
because
I mean,
10,000, 100,000, something like that, you can't say that California is efficient with 30 million, a tenth of the U.S. population in one state.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but then also if you have a broader umbrella constitution, then there's a way for more bureaucracy and inefficiency to eke through it. Because what happens if one of the autonomous regions comes up with a law or a constitutional change that's in direct opposition to the broader umbrella constitution? Then how do you tease that apart? Would you have then a court system that decides whether the law from the autonomous region, in this case the state, is in compliance with the...
We already have that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I guess I'm trying to understand what the difference is.
It would be, instead of having 50 states, we would have several thousand. And we would, instead of having 50 governors, we would have several thousand, or however that group of individuals would want to.
I mean, I guess there's a part
organize.
of me that has like the anarchist in me, or the in the old school realm, where it's like, why do you even need the umbrella then?
Because government is just a morality check, in my opinion.
Well, no, I mean, why do you need the broader? If you already have 1,000 little states and you're saying you as a libertarian want government to be smaller, why are you arguing for an umbrella constitution over the top of everything?
I guess maybe it's easier to swallow. I think that we should get rid of that too.
Okay.
See, that's what I thought you were initially saying, because I think, a lot of people look towards smaller countries, towards ideal functioning governments, but they don't understand the fact that maybe they only have 1 million or 2 million or 10 million people, not,
325.
Thank you.
Is that what it's at now?
I thought it was 330 or 335.
Well, we didn't do
the
any research
census
before this.
hasn't gone out yet this year. So
That's true.
to
I
be
was in the middle of
determined.
a head count, but I only got to 78 and I got bored.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, I was counting up in the rural areas of Idaho, and I only got to 10.
Yeah,
But then I counted you twice, so it was actually only 9.
and what about the cow and the sheep count?
Yeah, I don't know how would the Constitution would they be subject to the Constitution?
Well, I guess it would depend on the area. Anyway, so we need to take power back. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I guess
Rage Against the Machine said you got to take the power back. If we're going to be quoting songs here, let's just keep doing it.
Well, I think we should we should be more open to change in our government too, because I think part of the problem is on a federal level we are so stagnated and calcified in our processes that we can't change things that are big. And I think part of that is actually systemic in the way that the Constitution was set up, because they were scared of things like coups and stuff and the whole system falling apart, So right now we have a system that's way more stagnated almost innately, as opposed to maybe like a parliamentary system that you find in Europe, where you can vote out entire parties, as opposed to we're just all about individuals. This individual holds this office, and then we like have like kind of a duopoly that we choose between the individuals. That's kind of rambling.
Yeah.
I will say, if you want to call me rambling now.
Rambling man.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
just say it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or sing it. Don't sing it.
Rambling man. I am
Do we have
Rambling
any-
Man. YouTube.
Do we have
YouTube flagged me for using this song without permission.
Good luck, YouTube. See if your algorithm can discern that version of Ramblin' Man.
Trying to make a living doing the best I can.
Does anyone else have any solutions to present?
Well, I think part of the thing is, though, because we always talk about the difference between, because you were talking about psychological things earlier, like psychological tests between conservatives and liberals earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always think that these it's just a simple dichotomy or a simple binary that doesn't mean anything other than on certain specific issues.
Well, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, that there are tests that social scientists can distribute, and without knowing anyone's political affiliation beforehand, after the test is completed or the experiment, they can pinpoint down to 100% accuracy what the person's political affiliation is. And it's something as simple as the part of your brain that recognizes fear. So they had a group of however many people listen to these sound bites regarding a certain political issue. One was inducing fear and one was inducing hope. And by no arguable margin, conservatives were more, their part of your brain that triggers fear was triggered way higher than at the fearful dialogue than by the hopeful dialogue. And the progressives or the liberals were way less reactive to it.
I believe that. I had a psych professor when I was an undergraduate that basically, after spending it was a year-long course, at the end of the year-long course, and she worked for advertising for a tobacco firm for like a decade or more.
Yeah.
And she was able to pinpoint each one of us where we were in our birth order or whether or not we were an only child based on our behavior throughout the year. And she did that 100% with 25 kids, whether it was the oldest, middle, youngest, or only child. And so they have a lot of research in the psych field. And to think that the Republicans and Democrats are using that information as well to manipulate us, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean,
they
but
could
I
be
think
listening
what's
to this
the difference
podcast right now,
I know,
even though it's not live.
Well, I guess the only thing that I don't like about the way that it was probably reported, those types of studies are always reported as if, wow, there's a biological and psychological difference between a
No, it wasn't
Republican and
biological.
Democrat.
No, you're
Their
making
brains,
assumptions.
Those
No.
brains work differently.
They were not saying it's biological or genetic. They continued the show to talk about how it's actually environmental, and they brought in these twin studies and things like that.
Twin studies, I concur with twin studies.
And it's environmental. It's not
Was that
genetic.
a threesome joke?
Oh dear.
Now it was.
Sorry. So it was environmental.
So
they got these two hot twins in there. And then they put them in different rooms.
I think on that note, we're running out of time here. So solution in this situation is definitely more twin studies.
More twin studies.
Thank you all for tuning in this week. And be sure to visit LowerGentryStudios.com to get back episodes of Treasure Valley Podcast, as well as future episodes of Treasure Valley Podcast, and to watch our latest web series, Canyon County. Thank you all.